Hi everyone and welcome to my channel Beginning with My Bookshelf. My name is Martina and today I thought I would do my January wrap up. I read a total of 6 books this month, which include 2 graphic novels, but I also DNF'd 2 books unfortunately, but let's get straight into it. The first book I read is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. This tells the story of Tom Hazard, who was born in the late 1500s, but he's still alive in present day because he has this condition which means that he only ages physically 1 year every 25 years. The only thing that he's not supposed to do, as he is told, is to fall in love, but of course he does. And the story kind of goes through how he falls in love and how it makes him feel, and also why he doesn't let anybody get close to him. I really liked this book. I liked the way it went between past and present. It made it more interesting to read, and we get a sense of all that he's been through and why he is so aloof with people, why he is the way he is. I also liked his writing style. It was very poetic in places. You could really get a sense of how he was feeling throughout this novel. I really liked the ending. It was very surprising, but in a good way, and I would definitely recommend this book. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was After the Silence by Louise O'Neill. This tells the story of a girl called Nessa Crowley who was murdered one night at a party at Henry and Keelan Kensla's. Henry and Keelan Kensla are suspected of murdering her, but they can't find any evidence, so they go free. 10 years later, a documentary crew arrives trying to find out what exactly happened to Nessa that night. This was okay. I thought the pacing was good. The story moved along quite well. I've never experienced domestic abuse, but I thought she portrayed it quite well. Throughout the book, you just want Keelan to leave Henry the whole time because he is very emotionally abusive, but she keeps alluding to the fact that she can't leave him for some reason, and that is quite intriguing. When I found out what happened to Nessa at the end, I was just kind of like, oh, is that it? I've definitely read better thrillers, but it's an okay book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I tried to read was Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller. This tells the story of a noble girl who wants to become a surgeon, but is frowned upon for a girl in her position to become a surgeon. But then there's another poor girl who wants to learn how to do magic. They meet one day and they decide that they're going to swap lives so that the poor girl can learn magic and then the rich girl can take the poor girl's place and learn to become a surgeon. I DNF'd this book. I just didn't care enough about the story. First of all, I thought the story could have actually been set up a bit better. It was like the first or second page when the rich girl sees the poor girl and is like, we kind of look alike, let's see. And then she goes over and is like, hey, do you want to swap lives with me? And the poor girl is just like, yeah, okay, without barely any hesitation. Like, it just wasn't set up very well. I felt nothing at all towards the other characters. I thought the instant friendships were just too convenient. I just felt there was no depth to these characters and I really didn't care for the story at all. The next book I read is The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. The story begins in 1617 on a remote Norwegian island. One night, while all the men are out fishing, a storm suddenly arrives, killing all the men, and so the women are left to fend for themselves. About a year and a half later, a man is sent to the island to basically take control of the women. Around this time, there's also been witch killings, and so the man is basically sent there to find any evil lurking on the island. Now, he brings his new wife with him, and while he tries to control the women of the island, she begins to make friends with some of the women, especially one particular islander. I really enjoyed this book. You could almost feel the coldness of the Norwegian island through the author's writing. I thought the depiction of the women was excellent. They didn't just lay down and play the victim when all the men died. They kind of rallied together and they were able to fend for themselves, and competently so. I thought the growing friendship between Ursa, the new wife, and one of the islanders, Mirren, was really sweet. I thought the authors built up the characters beautifully, and I really felt for these characters. Like, when something bad happened to them, I felt sad for them, and I really felt their grief when the men died. I thought the ending was done really well. I was actually kind of shocked at how it ended, but yeah, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I picked up was Good Morning Good Life by Amy Landino. I love Amy. I watch her YouTube videos the whole time. She does videos on productivity and how to make the most out of your time. I found this book kind of boring. It started off quite well, but then I found it got a bit rambly. She had some good suggestions, but I just feel if you're looking for a book on motivation to get up in the mornings, then I would suggest The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod or The 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma. They're much better books, and I ended up DNFing this book. The next book I picked up was Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. For some reason I went into this book thinking that it was about 2 boys in high school who fall in love, but this is definitely not set in high school. It is 2 men who are in their early 20s, and it is steamy, let me tell you. This tells the story of Alex, who is the son of the President of the United States of America, and he hates Prince William of England. Like, he despises him. He hates how cocky he is. He hates how he seems to think he's better than everyone else. He hates that perfect jawline. Anyway, there ends up being a bit of a debacle at a party that the two of them are at, and so to save face between their countries, they have to pretend that they're best friends. So they end up spending more time together and they start messaging each other, and suddenly, is Prince Henry all that bad? I loved this book. I thought the characters were witty and wise, and even though they were political figures, I thought they were relatable in the way that they felt about things and the way they reacted to some things. And this book was funny. This is only the second book that's ever made me laugh out loud. I think Casey McQuiston is a really clever and witty writer, and I cannot wait to read her next book. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So then I picked up a graphic novel called Cemetery Girls by Charlaine Harris. This tells a story of a girl who was left for dead in a cemetery. I think she does actually die for a minute, and afterwards when a body is buried, she's able to see the ghost of that person rise and go into heaven. So the book is basically her trying to figure out who she is because she can't remember, and find out who tried to kill her and leave her for dead. I found this book kind of boring. Nothing really happens for most of the book. The character doesn't seem to develop in any way, and we don't find out any more about who she is. Even at the end when a bit of excitement happens, it was all very quick and sudden, and I just don't think the characters would have acted the way they did. Yeah, I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. The last book I read was Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This tells a story of two boys in high school, Charlie who is gay and Nick who is straight, or so he thinks. They end up sitting together one day in school and they start to become friends. Their friendship deepens as they spend more time together, and Nick starts to question his sexuality and whether he's attracted to Charlie. I love this book. This book made me so happy. It is so sweet. Alice Oseman really gets the angst and the longing of young love across in this graphic novel. I loved the characters. They're just so likeable. You're just rooting for them the whole time. Even at the end of the graphic novel, I was just like, what? Is that it? I need more. I need more. I loved it so much. It just made me so happy, and I cannot wait to read the rest. So I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for my January wrap up. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you want some more book related videos. I'll see you soon. Bye.